In the DC universe, villains aren't just opponents. They are forces that define heroes, test ideologies, and challenge the very concept of justice. From chaotic tricksters to godlike tyrants, each villain shapes the world around them and forces heroes to rise higher. These are the top 10 DC villains, each leaving an unforgettable mark on the universe. Bane, the master strategist and unstoppable force, comes in at number 10. Bane is the villain who broke the bat, literally. Born in a brutal prison on the island of Santa Prisca, he was raised among violence and forced to endure experiments with the strength-enhancing drug Venom. But Bane isn't just muscle. He is a tactical genius. He studied Batman for months, learned his identity, and then executed a perfect plan. He unleashed Arkham's inmates, waited until Batman was exhausted, and then defeated him in combat, snapping his spine over his knee. What makes Bane a villain is his belief that strength justifies domination. He doesn't want chaos like the Joker or justice like Ra's. He wants to rule by proving he is the strongest mind and body in Gotham. Bane's importance in DC history is undeniable. He showed that Batman isn't just vulnerable physically, he can be strategically defeated. Bane isn't a monster. He's a reminder that discipline, intelligence, and brutality combined can break even legends. Bane is crucial to the DC universe because he is the perfect fusion of intellect and brute strength, proving that Batman can be defeated both mentally and physically. He forces Batman to confront his own limitations by breaking not just his body, but his belief in being untouchable. Without Bane, the idea that even the greatest heroes can fall and rise again would lose one of its most powerful examples. Coming in at number 9, Reverse Flash, the speedster who turns time against its own heroes, races chaos through the DC universe. Reverse Flash's obsession turned into time-bending terror. Eobard Thawne was a scientist from the future who idolized the Flash, but when he learned he was destined to become Barry Allen's greatest enemy, admiration twisted into hatred. Using the Speed Force, he became the Reverse Flash, dedicated to ruining Barry's life, not by killing him, but by destroying everything he loves. He murdered Barry's mother, framed his father, and tormented generations of the Flash family. What makes him terrifying is his mastery of time. He doesn't just attack in the present, he rewrites the past. Reverse Flash's importance is psychological and existential. He is proof that the worst villains aren't born from power, they're born from obsession. If the Flash represents hope, Reverse Flash represents the idea that one person's hatred can echo across time itself. Reverse Flash is essential to the DC universe because he embodies the dark reflection of the Flash, using the same power of speed not to save lives, but to ruin them. His obsession with Barry Allen turns time itself into a weapon, proving that the greatest danger can come from someone who understands the hero better than anyone else. Without Reverse Flash, the battle between legacy, time, and destiny in the DC universe would lack its most personal and relentless adversary. Sliding in at number 8, Black Adam, the ancient powerhouse whose justice hits with the force of lightning, shakes the DC universe to its core. Black Adam is power without compassion. Once a slave in ancient Kondak, Teth Adam was chosen by the wizard Shazam to wield divine abilities. But unlike Billy Batson, he used this power to seek justice through vengeance. The gods punished him, imprisoning him for centuries. When he returns to the modern world, he doesn't want peace. He wants control. He liberates his homeland with brutal force, killing oppressors and challenging any nation that interferes. To some, he is a savior. To others, a tyrant. Black Adam's villainy comes from believing that freedom can be achieved through fear. He's not mindless. He's a ruler who thinks strength is the only language the world understands. His importance to DC is how he blurs the line between protector and conqueror. He's what happens when pain creates a hero without mercy. Black Adam is essential to the DC universe because he blurs the line between hero and villain, embodying justice driven by rage, pride, and ancient power. His presence challenges characters like Shazam and Superman to confront what true justice means: mercy or uncompromising strength. Without Black Adam, the moral debate between power, vengeance, and responsibility in the DC universe would lose one of its fiercest voices. Deadly, calculating, and unstoppable, Deathstroke strikes like a shadow with superhuman precision, coming in at 7. Deathstroke is the perfect assassin. calculated, enhanced, and morally unshaken. Once a soldier, Slade Wilson underwent an experimental procedure that gave him superhuman strength, reflexes, and tactical intellect. Instead of using his abilities for heroism, he became a mercenary defined by precision and payment. Deathstroke doesn't kill out of rage or ideology. He kills because it's profitable and efficient. Heroes like Batman and the Teen Titans don't fear him because he's chaotic. They fear him because he plans every move, exploits every weakness, and never lets emotion cloud judgment. His importance lies in how he reflects what heroes could become if they chose pragmatism over principles. In Deathstroke, we see discipline without morality and strength without restraint. He is proof that the deadliest villains aren't gods or monsters. They're humans who know exactly what they're doing. Deathstroke is essential to the DC universe because he combines superhuman strength, speed, agility, and healing with unmatched tactical genius, making him a threat no hero can underestimate. He forces heroes to confront danger that is both physically overwhelming and intellectually precise, turning every encounter into a test of skill and strategy. Without Deathstroke, the universe would lack one of its most lethal and calculated adversaries, showing that even superpowers paired with intellect can be deadly. Chaotic, unpredictable, and impossibly clever, Harley Quinn tumbles into number 6, turning madness into her most dangerous weapon. Harley Quinn is the tragedy of love turned toxic. Once Dr. Harleen Quinzel, a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum, she believed she could fix the Joker. Instead, she fell in love with him. Manipulated and broken, she abandoned her career, sanity, and identity to become Harley Quinn, his partner in crime. What makes her a villain isn't just the crimes she commits. It's how far she lets obsession erase morality. She helps Joker terrorize Gotham, harms innocents for his approval, and laughs through the destruction. Yet unlike many villains, Harley is self-aware. She knows she's broken, but she doesn't always want to be fixed. Her importance lies in how she humanizes villainy. She shows that evil isn't always born from hate. Sometimes it's from misplaced love, abuse, and trying to belong. Over time, Harley evolves into something more complex than a sidekick. She becomes a symbol of survival, recovery, and the blurred lines between victim and villain. Harley Quinn is essential to the DC universe because she brings chaos, unpredictability, and a human vulnerability that challenges both heroes and villains. Her intelligence, combat skills, and emotional complexity make her more than just a sidekick. She forces characters to navigate morality, loyalty, and madness in ways they can't ignore. Without Harley, the DC universe would lose a character who turns chaos into both danger and darkly compelling storytelling. Cold, calculating, and terrifyingly brilliant, Brainiac towers at number 5, collecting worlds like trophies while testing the limits of every hero's mind. Brainiac is intellect without empathy, a hyper-intelligent alien from the planet Ghul. He travels the universe collecting knowledge, but not by learning. He steals it. His method is cruel: shrink a city, absorb its information, and then destroy the planet it came from. He famously captured Kandor, one of Krypton's greatest cities, before the planet exploded. This makes him one of Superman's oldest and most personal enemies. Brainiac believes emotion taints truth, so he removes it from his purpose. His villainy comes from treating living beings as data, not lives. Brainiac's importance in DC is foundational. He represents the danger of intellect without morality and technology without responsibility. Every time he appears, heroes are forced to answer a frightening question. Is knowledge still noble if it requires the death of entire worlds? Brainiac isn't chaos or rage. He is cold, calculated genocide in the name of preservation. Brainiac is essential to the DC universe because he represents the ultimate threat of cold, calculated intelligence, a villain who conquers worlds not with brute force but with knowledge and strategy. His obsession with collecting civilizations forces heroes like Superman to defend not just lives but the very essence of culture and freedom. Without Brainiac, the cosmic and intellectual stakes of the DC universe would lose one of their most formidable and relentless antagonists. Ancient, relentless, and driven by a vision of perfect balance, Ra's al Ghul rises at number 4, challenging heroes to question whether the ends ever justify the means. Ra's al Ghul is not a madman. He is a radical visionary. Born centuries ago, he discovered the Lazarus pits, mystical pools granting resurrection at the cost of sanity. Over time, he watched civilizations rise and collapse because of corruption, greed, and environmental destruction. His solution is extreme: destroy most of humanity to let the earth heal. As leader of the League of Assassins, he commands warriors, scientists, and global resources to carry out his plan. He respects Batman deeply and even wants him to inherit his empire, but only if he accepts ruthlessness. What makes Ra's a villain is not his goals, but his methods. Mass extinction disguised as salvation. He shows that evil can come from logic, not madness. His importance lies in the moral conflict he creates. Batman must choose between justice and environmental survival. Ra's al Ghul is the reminder that sometimes the world isn't threatened by chaos, but by order taken too far. Ra's al Ghul is essential to the DC universe because he represents a dangerous ideology, saving the world through destruction and control for the greater good. His ancient wisdom and global influence challenge Batman not just physically, but philosophically, forcing him to weigh justice against necessity. Without Ra's al Ghul, the moral conflict between preservation and sacrifice in the DC universe would lose one of its most compelling voices. Brilliant, ruthless, and always one step ahead, Lex Luthor claims number 3, proving that the deadliest threats don't need superpowers to topple gods. Lex Luthor is humanity's greatest mind and its greatest ego. Born in Metropolis, he built an empire from intelligence and ambition. But when Superman arrived, Lex didn't see a hero. He saw a threat. To him, Superman's presence means humanity will stop striving and let a god solve their problems. What makes Lex a villain isn't that he wants to kill Superman. It's that he believes he's saving humanity by doing it. He funds wars, manipulates governments, and even becomes president of the United States. All to prove mankind doesn't need aliens to protect them. He is dangerous because he has no powers, only brilliance, money, and an unshakable belief that he is right. Lex Luthor represents the villain born not from poverty or trauma, but from pride. His importance is philosophical. He asks whether humanity should worship its heroes or surpass them. Superman is hope. Lex Luthor is ambition without ethics. Lex Luthor is vital to the DC universe because he proves that humanity's greatest threat to itself isn't alien invasion, but human ambition unchecked by morality. His unmatched intellect and obsession with power challenge Superman in ways brute force never could, forcing moral and ideological battles rather than physical ones. Without Luthor, the struggle between human potential, ego, and responsibility would lose its most grounded and dangerous voice. Imposing, unstoppable, and the embodiment of tyranny itself, Darkseid commands number 2, a cosmic force that turns entire worlds into pawns in his quest for absolute control. Darkseid is not a criminal, he is a god of tyranny. Ruling the hellish planet Apocalypse, he seeks one thing: the anti-life equation, a formula that removes free will from all living beings. To Darkseid, freedom is a flaw. Emotion is weakness. His goal isn't destruction, it's absolute control. Physically unstoppable and intellectually ruthless, Darkseid has destroyed planets, killed gods, and even fought Superman to a standstill. But his true power is ideological. He represents oppression in its purest form. Heroes don't just fight his armies, they fight the idea that life is better without choice. Darkseid's importance to DC is cosmic. He unites gods, humans, and aliens against a shared enemy. Stories like Final Crisis and Justice League Origin exist because of his invasion. He makes heroes realize that saving the world isn't enough. They must protect free will itself. Darkseid is the ultimate reminder that the greatest evil isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's control. Darkseid is essential to the DC universe because he represents the ultimate embodiment of tyranny, seeking to eliminate free will itself. His existence raises the stakes for every hero, uniting even the strongest forces against a threat beyond mere conquest. Without Darkseid, the cosmic scale of good versus evil in the DC universe would lose its depth and urgency. Pure chaos incarnate, the Joker takes the top spot at number 1, a twisted mirror forcing heroes to face the darkness within themselves. The Joker isn't just Batman's greatest enemy, he is the embodiment of chaos. His past is intentionally blurred. Some stories say he was a failed comedian, others a criminal who fell into acid. But none of it matters. What defines the Joker isn't who he was, but what he believes now. That life is meaningless, morality is a joke, and anyone can break. Unlike most villains, he doesn't want money, power, or control. He wants to prove that under the right circumstances, even the best people can become monsters. The Joker's crimes go beyond violence. He targets the mind, pushing heroes to question their ethics and sanity. He paralyzed Barbara Gordon, murdered Jason Todd, and constantly tempts Batman to kill him. His importance in DC lies in how he tests the line between justice and vengeance. As long as Batman stands for order and restraint, the Joker will exist to tear it down. He's not just a villain, he is the question of what happens when society's rules collapse. The Joker is necessary in the DC universe because he challenges the very idea of order and justice, exposing how fragile those systems really are. His chaos forces heroes, especially Batman, to constantly examine their morals and limits. Without the Joker's presence, the struggle between good and evil would lose its sharpest contrast. DC's greatest villains do more than challenge heroes. They define the moral, ethical, and existential stakes of their world. From chaotic tricksters to godlike tyrants, each villain shapes the universe, tests morality, and leaves a mark that endures across stories. They are proof that heroes are only as strong as the adversaries they face, and that evil comes in as many forms as courage does in its opposition.